5, 4, 3, 2, millimetre.
So just making sure that there's not a millimetre left on the table. Can Waters or Randall convert to a big victory today and stop the steamroller of Shane van Gisbergen? Oh, he's gone nowhere. Randall's gone nowhere.
I guess fair few emotions coming back to the team, seeing the car for the first time. I mean, it's the last thing you really want to do as a driver is to, essentially write off a car or heavily damage one.
Yeah, starting to feel a bit more normal. It's obviously a nasty crash when that sort of thing happens, and your body takes a little while for the bruising and everything to go down. So still pretty sore through my ribs when I lean down and have to push up off the ground, for example. But as a whole, doing really well. And today actually is the first day I felt kind of normal and like a normal person. So yeah, it's all heading in the right direction.
Yeah, it was looking really good at the start of the race, starting on the front row next to my teammate Cam Waters. First front row lockout for Tickford.
He's looking for the green flag. That's why he's so intently looking in the rear vision mirror.
Got it all clear.
I'm not quite sure what went wrong yet. Pulled up to the grid, put it in neutral. You're sitting there for a really long time when you're on the front row, because I guess there's 25 other cars that are coming to the grid. And then the 5-second ball comes out, foot on the clutch, grab first gear, try and find the bite point. And then it just started grabbing. So then I put my foot back in the clutch, and then it just kept grabbing, and I thought, oh, this isn't going to be good. And then it stalled, and it actually stalled just before the lights went out.
Oh, he's gone nowhere. Randall's gone nowhere. He'll have to use the anti-stall, and he's been clouded heavily by Heimgartner. Heimgartner's gone straight into the back. It'll trigger a safety car, and that is a disastrous start.
You okay, mate? You okay?
So I put my hands up as a bit of an open wheel reaction, and I thought, well, probably no one's going to see that. I started looking in my mirrors just to see if anyone was going to hit me. Then I thought, I just don't want to watch if a car's going to hit me, and that was when, I started bracing myself.
Obviously, as a driver, you want to try and analyse the situation, or as anyone with any incident, try and think what you could have done different. And when I was driving down there, I had Lee Holdsworth and I can't remember the car in front of him, and they both started slowly going in opposite directions. To a point where I couldn't see through them because they were overlapped. And then the car in front of Lee obviously swerved last minute to avoid Randall, and then Lee luckily was heading in that way and just managed to get past him, and it sort of had the effect of appearing Tom Randall's car in front of me. So it was pretty scary. I totally was not expecting it, and it gave me the bloody fright of my life, and I just remember thinking, oh, this is gonna hurt.
I mean, I think they were saying somewhere around 38 to 40 Gs, which is pretty significant impact. Yeah, I got a couple good bruises. My left foot's a bit banged up. I must have hit it on something in the car. My knee's bruised from smashing the steering wheel. Yeah, it could have been a lot worse, and I'm just thankful that Andre is okay as well. Like, you're laying in the medical centre after obviously that massive shunt, thinking, why am I doing this? Like, should I just go get a normal job? And is it really worth going through all this? And I'm sure anyone that's been in a big accident sort of gone through the same. Yeah, I mean, I haven't really had that much to do with Andre, and we had a really good chat about what happened. On the ride to the hospital, we actually watched the wet race, and we're just sort of hanging out, and just when you go through something like that with someone, you get a bit of a bond about it, I guess.
Oh, that vision's still hard to watch, isn't it? The biggest crash of the year, and we're so grateful that both Andre Heimgartner and Thomas Randall were able to walk away from that one relatively unscathed. They're obviously pretty banged up and bruised, but as you can see, they've recovered really well and they're about to crack on. It was great to see them back in the car here yesterday for practice. And and they'll have to get their game faces on today because we've got a busy day, practice, then qualifying, and then a race this afternoon here at Sandown Raceway. I haven't even said good morning to the two of you. Hello, Mike Scaife. Hello,
Morning,
Neil
Jess.
Crompton. We're counting down to the last practice session for Supercars. But in terms of Thomas Randall and Andre Heimgartner, mentally, what do they need to overcome today?
Yeah, morning, Jess. Morning, everybody. It's a really weird one. I mean, obviously, you start the show like that and so you feel quite sombre because we never want to see accidents like that at any point. We did detail it very accurately at Tail and Bend about the improvement in the cars and some of the start line incidents that we've seen through history at Wanneroo and Oran Park in the coverage. But when you do see that and that vision from Andre, that's the first time that I've seen that.
Me too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and that was, that's wild.
And I think it reveals a bit more of the story that we couldn't quite piece together at the time. Good morning to you. Good morning, everybody, by the way. But the opportunity to see it from his viewpoint, now I actually understand more how the world revealed that car right in front of him and he had nowhere to go. But I hate seeing it. I hate seeing the threat to the drivers. I hate seeing the damage to the cars. I hate hearing about my colleagues up and down the pit lane having to spend endless hours putting things back together and spending countless amounts of money. But good news, everyone's okay. Thomas has got the car that Zach drove at Tail and Bend. Andre's got a new chassis, and they were able to resurrect quite a number of bits and pieces from the original R&J Batteries car. So all live to tell the tale for another day.
Yep, but plenty of work going on behind the scenes to get those cars to be ready to go this weekend. But certainly, as I said, physically, mentally, a bit to work through for both those boys. But let's catch up now with Thomas Randall. He's standing by for us with Garth Tander.
Thomas Randall, a couple of weeks since the start line drama at the Bend. First thing, how are you feeling?
Thanks, Garth. Yeah, feeling all good. Obviously, it was a pretty big impact, so glad that, we both, Andre and I, walked away pretty much unscathed. There was a bit of bruising afterwards, but nothing major, and it's just great to be back out in the Castrol Racing Mustang, just to move on and try and carrying that momentum that we had at the Bend.
Let's put that in the rear vision mirror. Look forward to this weekend. How did this car feel yesterday? This is the car that Zach Best actually used at the Bend, so it's got pretty good pedigree right now.
Absolutely. To be fair, my session didn't go that well. We had a few steering issues, which were resolved for Zach's session, and he seemed pretty comfortable in the car. As you said, for him, pretty much just sat in and it felt like fitting in a glove. So keen to get back out there this morning in practice too. I mean, it's going to be pretty slippery. The Porsches have just ran out, and I think they're on wets, but it's kind of at that crossover period, so we'll see what happens. But it's kind of good that we've got this practice before quali just to fine-tune the car, because I think all the Tickford cars were probably wanted to be a bit better yesterday. We'll see how the day goes.
I wanted to ask you about the conditions for this practice session coming up, because it looks very changeable. Melbourne weather's in fine form this weekend, so we could get a bit of everything. So do you feel like you can learn anything in this session?
Well, I guess that's why they call Melbourne 4 seasons in one day, so who knows, it could bucket down in the next hour, and then the sun will be out and everyone will get sunburnt. But I think you can learn things in every session. I mean, I guess if it is wet, there's every chance that it could rain for the race, so we can learn about a wet car. And then if it dries up, again, greasy conditions is probably how it's going to be throughout the rest of the day. So, we'll just take it as it comes. Any laps good under your belt, a good experience. So, just press on.
Great to see you fine, mate. We're looking forward to you having a good weekend this weekend.
Thanks, Garth.
Certainly went from glory to heartbreak for Thomas Randall on that Sunday at Tail and Bend, didn't it? Because he'd done such a wonderful job in qualifying to be starting from the front row of the grid. He'll want to get on with that here this weekend, just to prove to people that it was no fluke.